I, Asterik Duggal, hereby confess to the world my crime of perjury. Of course. What? Saw that one coming. Mr. Duggal, are you saying that these allegations are untrue? At least Mr. Payne and I have a little wavelength going on here. That you did not kill Ilva Morir? Of course not, dear Judge. Don't be ridiculous. However, I did lie in my testimony, and for that, I am truly sorry. As you should be, Mr. Duggal, and I am not convinced of your innocence. Worry not, Your Honor. You will be. If you would allow it, I shall testify to this court once again. Does that sound acceptable to you, Apollo, my boy? Bring it on. That's the spirit. All right. Your crime. As I said, I did lie in my testimony earlier. I did go near the limousine. But that doesn't prove that I committed the murder. After all, I never went in that limousine myself. You see, I wrote a note for Matthias and gave it to Ilva, but then we decided on a different plan. Since Mr. Morir felt a little uncomfortable, I agreed to escort him to the limousine. I explained the situation to Matthias and left my card key in the vehicle for safekeeping. After that, Ilva got in the car and I walked home. That's all there is to it. That's a long testimony, and that means it's going to be harder to actually prove. So let me get this straight. You were going to just give him the note and card key to take to Matthias, but you decided not to? Yes, exactly. We decided I might as well go over and tell Matthias what was happening myself. I lied about this because I didn't want to bring any unnecessary suspicion on myself. When I heard that Ilva Morir was killed in my own vehicle, I panicked and decided to lie. Anyway, this is why Mr. Morir's fingerprints are not on the card key. Well, that certainly seems believable. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Good luck, Apollo. Yeah, I'm gonna need it. Okay. As I said, I did lie in my testimony earlier. I did not go near that limousine. Hold it! Isn't that highly unbecoming of a political figure, Mr. Duggal? Yes, it is, Apollo. And I am very sorry. I will gladly accept whatever punishment is brought on to me. I now realize that lying to make it look like I never even went near my vehicle has caused me trouble. Much more trouble, in fact, than if I had just told the truth in the first place. Darn, this guy's good. No wonder he's a politician. Can we continue with the cross-examination, please? But that doesn't prove that I committed the murder. After all, I never went in that limousine myself. Hold it. So you say, but can you prove that?
Objection.
Once again, it is not that I need. Wait, what? It is not I that need to prove anything. the murder was committed in the limousine. If you believe that I am the murderer, you need some sort of proof that I was in that limousine. Objection! Your Honor, what about witness? You were ready to convict him for the murder, even though we didn't have any hard proof. But remember that he acted incredibly suspicious and lied multiple times in his testimony. And I don't think I even need to mention his fingerprints are on the card key. Oh, yeah. Ah, crap. The witness is correct. Just because he walked the victim to the vehicle does not mean he went in the vehicle with him. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Duggal. You see, I wrote a note for Matthias and gave it to Ilva, but then we decided on a different plan. Hold it! A different plan? If you recall, I was gonna tell Matthias, give Ilva a ride home and use it a note. But after I gave Ilva the note, and he put it in his pocket, he asked me to come along anyway. I suppose he felt awkward going to someone else's chauffeur and asking for a ride. In fact, I remember exactly what he said when I offered. I couldn't possibly. It's your limousine after all. So, being the good friend I am, I went over and told Matthias myself. We forgot about the note. That anecdote of his is interesting, but this note of his seems important. Should I ask more about the details? The writing utensil? Yes! What did you write this with? Did you use a feather pen? The writing surface? Mr. Duggal, I'm still wondering about how you wrote that note. What did you use as a writing surface out in the parking lot? Oh, yeah, that's true. Or were you inside when you wrote the note? We were discussing this outside, of course. So I used my hand as a writing surface. That seems very hard to do. Not the best quality, but it gets the job done, as they say. Your Honor, that detail is important. Could the witness add it to the testimony? Indeed. I don't see what good it will do. I am completely sure that this is the truth. Whenever you say you are completely sure this is the truth, that doesn't even sound right. Witness, add this detail to your testimony immediately. Certainly. I didn't really have a good place to write the note, so I used the palm of my hand as a surface. A note. Oh, right. A note from Asterik Duggal to the defendant, Matthias Thomas. Very neatly written. Very neatly written? Okay. Found in the chest pocket of the victim. Ilva Morir. Touch for details. That doesn't look very important. Just the fact that it was very neatly written. How can you, I didn't really have a good place to write the note, so I used the palm of my hand as a surface. You trying writing the note with your hand as the surface. Seriously. I present to you this note that was very neatly written. Objection! You say you used your hand as a writing surface for the note, correct? As I said, I am completely sure. 100% sure. Mr. Duggal, I don't know how to say this, but I've got you. Oh, really? Do tell. Yes, please, do share. Well, it's better if I show you the problem rather than tell you. Your Honor, do you have a piece of paper nearby? And a pen? Oh, yes, of course. It's always important to be equipped with such things. Let me just grab it out of my stand. Yeah, sure. Well, anyway, would you mind writing on a piece of paper, using the palm of your hand as the surface? Alright then, if this is important. That is very difficult. It came out all messy. Exactly, Your Honor. Now take a look at this note, which Asterik Duggal supposedly wrote on his hand. Well, Oh my! Such elegant writing! Not a single letter looks badly formed. Such great penmanship. Aha! So that's your plan! Exactly. Your Honor, if this note is so well written, it could not have been written on his hand. That was a mistake. You bet it was, Duggal. Your last one, actually, too. Mr. Justice, what does this mean exactly? Mr. Duggal did not write that note on his hand. What does that prove? Yes, that proves nothing. So what if I didn't actually write it on my hand? That's perjury. More perjury, actually. I was simply confused. You were confused about writing with your hand and on an actual surface? Okay. Oh, really, Mr. Duggal? Didn't you say multiple times that you were completely sure that you wrote the note on your hand? Gah! Curse this infernal tongue! Your Honor, if Mr. Duggal didn't write the note on his hand before the murder, then I believe he wrote it after the murder, to give himself an alibi. Indeed! He wrote the note after the murder, most likely in the limousine itself, and then planted it in Ilva Mamore's pocket! He created his own little alibi. But that's ridiculous! If I am the murderer, why aren't my fingerprints on the gun? Are you serious? Look at your hands, you idiot! Do I even need to point it out? You wear gloves all the time, even when you sleep. You're even wearing them right now. Can't you look at your hands? Mr. Duggal, you were the third person in the vehicle, not witness. You shot from the back seat, then left your driver to take the heat. Then you hired witness to act as a witness, and hired me to defend Matthias. Whether Matthias won or lost didn't matter to you, because either way, you would win. But now, it's over. Wait, this is crazy. Judge, you cannot convict me of this crime with no hard evidence. What I said, what I did, what I lied about, does not make me a murderer alone. As much as it disgusts me, and it really disgusts me because he is trying my patience on my hot date, the witness is correct. No! Oh dear. Your Honor, I believe I have not yet addressed this court, and I now wish to. Matthias Thomas? Your refusing to speak about the crime has caused us much trouble! That is true, Your Honor, but I have changed my mind. I will not seek the courage of this young defense attorney go to waste. Well, that's a feather in my cap, I guess. Matthias, what are you doing? How long have you been here? Need I remind you about our agreement? What agreement? Agreement? Mr. Duggal, you'd better not be talking about what we think you are talking about. Duggal, I will not be controlled by you. Not anymore. Your Honor, Mr. Justice and Mr. Payne are correct in asserting that Duggal is the killer. I saw it with my own eyes in the rear view mirror. Are you serious? You are confirming our suspicions? Matthias! How dare you! You little worm! Your Honor, I'm positive that he did it. He forced me to touch the murder weapon and made me stay in the car to take the blame. This is madness! He is simply conspiring against me, ruining my good name. I am not convinced, Mr. Duggal. However, the word of one person will not be enough to confirm the witness's guilt. But what about the word of two people, Your Honor? Yes, me, witness! Witness? How did you even get in here? It was difficult, believe me, yes, very difficult. But I confess what I did, yes! I was hired by Mr. Duggal to pretend that I was the victim, that I saw the crime. He offered me riches, glory, riches beyond my wildest dream. That dirtbag showed me the card key before I testified. Yes, I foolishly grabbed it and examined it, put my fingerprints all over the card key. Yes, yes. And then he betrayed me. He's the real criminal, not me. Huh. Well, I was pretty close with my assumptions. Give yourself a chance, and you'll surprise yourself. And anyway, I'm sorry about all that. I will repay my debt to society, just to let you know. Yes, yes. Fine, good. Yes, that is all I wanted to say. Yes. Amazing! Not one, but two people have come forward and named you as the murderer, Mr. Duggal. What do you have to say for yourself? You have no proof. Of course we have proof! Two people just barged in and accused you! If that's not proof, then what is? Solid physical evidence, Mr. Payne. It is something you still lack. And it is the very thing that will mark your defeat. What? Come now, my boy. Both of these people who accused me are murder suspects themselves. It is clear they must have conspired together to blame me for the crime. As unlikely as it seems, considering the circumstances, I can't deny the possibility, and this is a murder trial. We arrested witness because of the evidence presented against him. That is, the card key with his fingerprints. Without the same sort of clear-cut evidence, we cannot convict Mr. Duggal of this crime. Objection! But, Your Honor, what about the justice system? What happened to all that talk about common sense? Exactly! We got the justice system in this case right now. I mean, this is the Apollo Justice, and this is after the final case in Apollo Justice. I mean, it does say few months out, so we got the jurors to back us up, right? Right? Surely the jury will vote for Mr. Duggal's detainment! For the trial of Vera, Miss Ham, as you are no doubt referring to, there were only two possibilities. Vera Misham and Christoph Gavin. I don't need to tell you what happened to him. In this trial, however, there are three possibilities. Yet, the jury can only vote guilty or not guilty. They cannot directly convict Mr. Duggal. Oh, okay. Okay. And I'm afraid that, as of now, witness is far likelier candidate is a far likelier candidate to be named the murderer. No! No! The truth is right in front of us! It's right there! Why can't we get to it? Is there an invisible wall that the developers decided to put up right in front of us? I'm sorry, Mr. Justice. Mr. Payne, why did you decide to help me so much today? Seriously, that's so unlike you. Mr. Justice, I've been a prosecutor for 40 years. In all that time, I've lost a lot of trials. I mean, a lot of trials. Well, I will give him the benefit of the doubt there, yeah. Recently, I realized something. Helping the defense is a better use of my time. Occasionally. You see, Phoenix Wright asked me to go a little easier on you as a little favor. He said it was important. And you really listen to him? But since when do you listen to him? Exactly! When do you listen to Phoenix? I thought you hated Phoenix. Well, he offered me $50. That made it all a lot easier to swallow. Phoenix bribed you to go eat? What? He bribed you and only $50 got you to okay to... What? Really? $50 was all you needed? I had $50! Don't judge me. Do you have any idea what a losing prosecutor makes in a year? Well, thank you. Now that you do say that, I gotta feel bad for Mr. Payne and his paycheck. It's probably worse than Detective Gumshoes. Don't mention it. No, I mean, seriously, don't mention it. I have a reputation to uphold. And don't you dare think that I've gone soft! So Mr. Wright convinced Winston Payne to help me out. And I still lost! Great. I'm sure glad Mr. Wright isn't here to see this. I would appreciate if the defense and prosecution stopped the idle chatter. Especially about Mr. Payne's life outside the courtroom. I believe it is time to hand down my verdict, though. The same verdict I would have handed down already if Mr. Justice hadn't been so noble. Noble. And foolish. Come to think of it, Mr. Justice, you can consider our contract terminated. I hired you to defend Matthias, not accuse me of murder. Of course, it matters not anymore, Mr. Justice. You can't prove that I was in the limousine. You lose. Wow, what a jerk. Objection! Oh, I know that objection anywhere. Hold it right there, Duggal. Phoenix Wright! What is the meaning of this intrusion? Yeah, this seems like a bad time to just barge in here. Trust me, Apollo, it's a very good time. You remember that errand I mentioned earlier? Well, I finished it. An audio tape? But what does this mean? Quite a bit, Your Honor. It is my duty to inform the court of new evidence found concerning this mystery, this murder. Evidence that, as it happens, proves that Asterik Duggal was in the limousine that night. This evidence proves his guilt. Really? Preposterous! Ridiculous! You're just bluffing and hoping for a confession. I know your ways, Phoenix, even if it did happen 8 years ago. I know 'em. You and your bluff tactics. Even when I'm a frickin' witness and not actually a defense attorney, people still know me. Oh man, I got a good reputation. But how did this come into possession of? How did you come into possession of such evidence, Mr. Wright? Well, I had some assistance, of course. A few guys at the precinct helped me, since I was about to get reinstated soon anyway. We planted a bug, a listening device, on the outside of your coat when you weren't looking. Really? Wow! How did you know something would happen? I'm what you would call an acquaintance of Ilva Morir. He was always suspicious of you, Mr. Duggal. Always. Well, for goodness sake, let's hear what the decisive evidence is already. Quite the meeting today, was it not? Simply smashing, I must say. If you'll excuse me, I'd like to get going. I have quite a long walk, and it's cold out here. Mr. Morir, why don't you take my car? My driver would be happy to transport you. I couldn't possibly. It's your limousine, after all. No, I insist. My home is only a 10-minute walk from City Hall. Worry not on my behalf. Thank you. But wouldn't it make more sense if we were both went in your limousine? That way, you could drop me off at my home, and then be taken home yourself. Well, I certainly can't say no to that, can I? Off we go! The transmission ends there. Asterik Duggal went with Ilva Morir in the limousine. That is all. Do you have anything to say for yourself, Mr. Duggal? No! Look at Mr. Static Electricity Man. Apollo, my boy, you are victorious. I did kill him. I shot him with that pistol, and I manipulated witness and Matthews Thomas. Ilva was blocking my way to the top, and I let my emotions get the better of me. That was what I was looking for. Well, it's been a long time, a long and winding road. Especially since I think I just missed my hot date after this long freaking trial. But I think we're finally at the end of this trial. Mr. Wright, if I may ask, why did you wait so long before presenting this evidence to the court? It wouldn't have proved anything at the beginning of the trial, Your Honor. Duggal wasn't even close to being a suspect then. This is true. He didn't get shown to be a suspect until, like, after the second recess. That's why the real heroes are currently sitting at the defense bench and at the prosecution bench. Hey, don't forget about the co-counsel bench! Of course, we can't forget about you, Trucy. I've consulted with the jury, and I believe it is time to announce the verdict. Your Honor, may I say something first? Well, yes, of course! What is it you want to say? Thank you, Mr. Justice. Thank you for everything. All I did was my job, Mathias. But you are welcome. Alright then. It is time for the verdict to be announced. No! No, no, no! Not again, Mr. Payne! What is it now? I was just kidding around, Your Honor. You can announce the verdict. Well, I'm announcing the verdict, whether anyone likes it or not. We hereby find the defendant, Mathias Thomas, not guilty. Yeah! No confetti, sorry. No confetti during, no confetti during, custom trials. Sorry about that, folks. The confetti dispenser ran out. Court is adjourned. Great job in there, Apollo. You did it! We did it, Trucy. Hey, don't forget about me. Well, of course we couldn't have forgotten about you, Daddy. You can say that again. You recruited Mr. Payne to help us, even with 50 bucks. You came up with decisive evidence. You knew how it was all going to unfold. But there's something that's been bothering me, Mr. Wright. Why couldn't I sense that Mr. Duggal was lying? Have I lost my ability to perceive? I don't think so, Apollo. Remember, Asterik Duggal is a politician. Lying is his profession! Oh boy. I guess I can't argue with that. The sad thing is, I'm not going to say anything bad about politicians because I'm pretty sure anyone that's watching this probably already knows a thing or two about politicians, so not gonna say anything. Nope, not gonna say anything at all. Nope. So, I suppose you figured out what I meant by no one is above the law? I think I get it. No one is above the law, not even those who are responsible for making it. Correct. As lawyers, we need to prove all of our prejudices. Prejudices? Prejudices, biases, and assumptions to find the truth. That is our job. But Mr. Wright, there's something else I need to know. Shoot. Was it really legal for you to get a hold of that evidence? And then just present it out of the blue? Like your suit that you don't have on, sadly? Well, you might say that I'm entitled to certain privileges, now that I'm part of the prosecutor's office. Really? Wow! That's surprising! Why aren't you going back to being a defense attorney? Yeah, this is the part where it's like, no, this is not canon whatsoever. And it's like, yes, now Phoenix is a prosecutor. Yes, that makes a whole lot of sense. It's probably because Miles said that he did not need to defend him at that one point in the first game, because he knew all along about stuff, and I'm not going to go into spoilers too much, so yeah. I'll see you in court soon, Apollo. And with that, so ends one of the craziest cases of my career. It's been a year since I first became a defense lawyer, and I'm always learning. Now that Phoenix Wright has become a prosecutor, who knows what the future holds? My name is Apollo Justice, and I am a defense attorney. Thanks for playing! I didn't like the end, but I didn't like the end where Phoenix says that he was a prosecutor. If anything, with the game with Dual Destinies out now, spoilers coming, so I would say stop the video if you haven't watched my Dual Destinies playthrough or played Dual Destinies itself. But with Phoenix helping Edgeworth out in the prosecutor's office because he passed his his disbarment exam or whatever. Wouldn't it make sense if it would have been a little favor for Edgeworth from Edgeworth if he gave Phoenix some stuff to go for this case and prove that the politician was corrupt? And I think everyone knows what I'm trying to say. Phoenix could have used that little excuse instead of saying, I'm a prosecutor now, because prosecuting and defense attorney, I'm pretty sure, is two completely different things that don't collide. But don't ask me about that. But otherwise, the entire trial, I did enjoy it. Just that ending was kind of Phoenix wears blue. He doesn't wear red. I can't imagine Phoenix in red. Edgeworth, on the other hand. But with that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will play another trial. I've had one person suggest something to me. I won't say what yet, but apparently it's supposed to be one of the hardest trials ever. That's a great way to continue the series right off the bat. And yeah. Again, hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you all next time. Have a great day.